It's not difficult to control and destroy the masses when one controls the mediums of information and can enact laws which prohibit verification, imprison those who question the official narrative, and censor the people who know the truth. Hello, good people. It's Rob Lee. I recently this weekend had a conversation with a guy from my channel, and it was incredibly disturbing. And this conversation, along with some of the recent comments on my channel and text messages and emails, prompted me to write this article and then put it into a video format. I had planned on doing a video about the tribulation. However, this video will go hand in hand with it, but it will be the next video that I will do. I have long since told all whom the Father will bring to this channel that liars and deceivers are a dime a dozen in this world. The world is full of them. The internet, folks, is a minefield of false information, disinformation, and propaganda. The most important piece of real estate right now, folks, is your mind. The most important battle taking place in this world right now is not for land, money, or even power. It is the battlefield of the mind. That's the real battle, people. It's for your mind. Certain topics and buzzwords will bring the masses running to YouTube, social media, mainstream media to watch and or read the latest round of bull manure. The Synagogue of Satan has its worker bees in place and ready to go. They are ready to accommodate the eager and gullible folks with meaningless speculation, innuendo, and outright lies. In fact, the lies are becoming more and more outrageous. At the end of the video, I'm going to let the highest authority tell us exactly what happens and the end result of constantly hearing lies, filth, and violence. What actually happens to us physically, mentally, and spiritually. Not my words, but I promise you, it may change you. Most people are mental and spiritual slaves. They've been put out to pasture on Babylon's farm. However, what happens is this. After watching a few weeks worth of lies on YouTube, they quickly consider themselves filled with knowledge and they believe they have discovered some secret truth. They are led to believe that they have left the Babylonian farm, even though most of them have no remote idea they are presiding on a spiritual farm for slaves that is controlled by the Synagogue of Satan in the Mystery Babylon system. So after surfing YouTube, social media, and finding their hidden gems of truth, they believe they are free. These poor lost souls cannot realize that they have only exchanged one farm for another. The scenery is different, the fences are back a little further, but the people are still on the same farm of Babylon. As someone who has had his freedom taken from him and put behind bars, I understand what it means to lose freedom. I was downstairs with no outside light and locked beneath the world. However, in time, you move upstairs and you see the outside light coming through. The next step is you get to go outside. Well, after going outside for an hour, the air quality gets a little bit better and you see the sky from behind your wall and or barbed wire. However, you are still locked up. You are still a prisoner. This is what's going on with the majority of the world. There are many forms of prison and addiction, and this video does not browbeat you. Shamefully, I have committed almost every sin on this earth. I do not judge you, and I sure as hell do not condemn you. I want to help you to see slavery and addiction from another perspective. For some of you, it may change your life and or help you to free someone that you care for. We live in a world, folks, that has a surplus of so-called teachers, truth tellers, and truth seekers. Life is filled with the noise of those clamoring to have knowledge and wisdom. Most of these people create the majority of all content in the so-called truth community. I do believe that a few people, not many, but a few, they have good intentions, but they still end up peddling the same old recycled lies they've watched in other videos. The few people who actually have some knowledge will face immediate censorship by the Babylonian merchants. This does not only apply to those who write articles and make videos of truth, it also applies to those who share honest and compelling posts. Many good people who know the truth are banned for making comments that are offensive to the Babylonian merchants. There are quite a few of these folks on my channel, men and women, who know more truth than most, and because of this, they face constant censorship. One of my better friends on here was a guy named Lycan73. I don't know if any of you remembered him. He was banned from YouTube because the man told the truth. He wasn't offensive, he wasn't disgusting, he wasn't vulgar, he told the truth. This fact escapes the YouTube addicts. You see, if you speak the truth, you are going to face real censorship. Not the fictitious censorship created by the likes of Alex Jones and so many of the YouTube channels. Real censorship will grow, and it has already spilled over to the workplace, schools, society, and even among our family and friends. The synagogue of Satan despises the truth. Online deception and technological entertainment is unmatched in its potential to devastate, confuse, and wreck the lives of individuals, families, and nations. The beast system speaks to people every single day. The problem is, folks, is that they cannot identify the beast because they are blinded. A little over 100 years ago, 5 beings disguised as men left Poland for the United States of America. Now, these men, and I'll stop short in calling them actual real men, but we'll do it just for the sake of this video. These men had the financial backing of the largest Babylonian banks in Europe and New York. These men would forever change the moral fabric of America and Canada. They were to found Hollywood, and their names are at the beginning of the movies that Americans have been watching for 80 years. This industry would be the catalyst for the television, music, and the pornography industries. I don't even like the way that word even comes off my tongue. The most popular subjects on the internet today, folks, are UFOs, porn, and music. This shows you the mindsets of the people. Nothing has decayed the morals of this country more than movies, TV, and music. Listen to what I'm telling you. Movies, TV, and music. And now we have the internet. The filth, violence, and lies and hate that emanate from these demonic monsters has been used to weaken and ultimately destroy the individual, family, and our societies. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Hollywood, all entertainment, technology, churches, and the internet have utterly devastated men, women, children, entire families and countries, and this snake has not finished squeezing yet. We can also add to the list narcotics, alcohol, big pharma, fluoride, and a range of chemicals and poisons that we breathe, eat, and drink on a daily basis. These weapons cause spiritual, mental, and physical malfunctions in people. It is a sorcery as taught in the Holy Scriptures. Sorcery as in pharmakia, the words of Jesus Christ himself, as in potions, also known as poisons and pills. Now, I'm not telling you that you shouldn't take medicine. Some medicine is from our Father. I'm also talking about the kind of sorcery that comes from witchcraft, that comes from hypnotic and demonic spells, which is all too real. You see, Babylon is going to capture your mind through both hypnosis and spells of all entertainment, or they will capture your mind using poisons. In many cases, most folks have succumbed to both forms of sorcery, and they have not a damn clue they're actually living a lie. You can take a person smoking a Marlboro, stoned out of his mind on pills or alcohol or dope, watching a video on YouTube that has put him under a spell. Now, this person, at the end of the day, he'll get up sober, at least temporarily sober. He will think that he's a truth seeker, that he has some special knowledge. Let me ask you something, folks. What is the difference in these pictures? How is it that some people can recognize that some things are harmful, even deadly, but they cannot see that all of them are harmful, deadly, controlled, and created by the same monsters? You see, some folks have a moment of a slight awakening about some subjects, but they never can see past their own hands. People seeking the truth about 5G, they comb YouTube for hours, days, and even weeks. And in some cases, it becomes their life and they become addicts. They sit surfing for that hidden nugget of knowledge about this evil technology called 5G as they sit smoking a cigarette. Now, let me ask you folks, how is it that this person is surfing for something that they believe will harm them, but they cannot put down what is killing them right then? Do you not see what's really going on in the mind here? How Babylon has spiritually stunted and they are destroying people. You see, folks want knowledge about something that can harm them, but they cannot start with what's right in front of them. They just simply can't. Dad, Mom, they've recently learned the dangers of fluoride, an incredibly important subject that more people should research. But yet mom and dad cannot grasp the harm that is being done by the multiple smart pads, iPads, smart tablets, and smartphones. I was recently taken aback, and I've already told you about it, by some of the comments and a conversation I had with a person, and we were talking about the Mandela effect, that he believes that the Bible has been changed through quantum physics as the names of cities, towns, cereals, sports. Just it goes on and on and on. Jesus is the son of the devil. God is the father of the Old Testament, whom people refer to as God. He is actually the devil of the Old Testament. Jerusalem, and this was given to me about 5 or 6 times. Jerusalem was originally in South Africa, and they have ancient maps now that are exposing this great lie. So these poor, spiritually stunted people actually believe. You see, the topics are endless, and so are the lies. Folks, what you have here is this. Our minds are created to work along channels of logic and faith. And for us to be healthy and productive, we need to have faith in what we're doing, and we need to have a method which to process the truth. And when you take away one or both from a normal mind and you feed it lies or force it to ignore truth consistently, it will blow a fuse. It will burn out. It will malfunction. You see, internet addicts possess burned out brains, just as drug addicts and alcoholics have. They have become defective and incapacitated. They cannot distinguish between the truth and a lie. And they don't like hearing it because it pisses them off. They don't like hearing it because the truth is most people are going through this. The masses are so dumbed down, they can be manipulated to believe anything. The church, the educational system, the internet, and entertainment breeds complete ignorance to the truth. Yet I tell you, if the Almighty Father did not want that person blind, they would not be blind. It's common for families and individuals to sit down with a lap full of poison, and they will let the beast system speak to them through the television or internet. They laugh, cry, shout. They run the entire gauntlet of every emotion as they watch a program that is purely fictional, people. Fictional. It is incredibly disturbing to see how these folks react when watching movies, playing games, music, and have you seen people when they watch sports? The sorcery folks is in high gear, and these vessels are under the influence of a power that they cannot comprehend on their most creative days. There has never been a greater struggle to capture the minds of the family of the Almighty Father. And the church has been the main battlefield. However, the battlefield has broadened to all forms of entertainment. The subtlety and deceit of Babylon are far more powerful than we understand in this age as we get ready for this final lap. Spiritual blindness, people, is the inability to understand our Father's plan and his message on how we are to behave. Spiritual blindness is the Father, and people do not like hearing this. Let me quote it to you. Spiritual blindness is the Father, the Almighty Creator himself, turning a person over to the lies of this world and them not knowing it. The best example is the churches and its abundance of lies. However, the second best example, and soon to be the first, is the deception and lies of the internet. People have hardened their hearts and have chosen the world over the Father and his Son, Jesus Christ. And for this reason, they are living in blindness, also known as the delusion. A world full of naive and gullible people who will gather around and sit on the devil's lap for truth, but will reject and run from the truth that is in Jesus Christ. In closing, I want you to think long and hard about what your Father, the Creator of all, has to say about allowing ourselves to watch and hear the synagogue of Satan and all its tentacles. These verses will move you. They may hurt you. They may scare you. But you will not hear people preaching these verses when it comes to the synagogue of Satan. YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, the entire social media, music, the film industry, you will not hear it. But it is the truth, and you need to know it, because you are going to be held accountable for watching and listening to these monsters. Open up your Bibles if you would like to read with me, and I'm going to read to you some verses that are incredibly powerful. and I hope they move you to the core. All right, good people, what we're going to do now is we're going to close it out, and I'm going to read some verses to you, and I hope they will move you as much as they moved me. And first of all, let me say, it's turned as far as the Mandela effect, in Jerusalem being in South Africa, and all the other BS and manure that people believe that the Almighty Father is the devil. Man, you're going to believe what you believe. I have no control over that. I'm not here to make you believe anything. I'm here to serve my Father first and foremost. That's it. And if you get something from what I talk about, then great. If you don't, then that's fine. I don't have any control over that. John 6:44, 45, and 65, 66. I don't have. The Father has to bring us individually to the truth. He will put people in our lives to help. Many people simply have not grown up. And this is a real problem among Western culture when you see 40, 50-year-old men behaving like children. This has to do with the guy that I talked to, just childlike. I mean, poor, pathetic 50-year-old, 40-year-old men watching YouTube videos like little kids, little children, and believing any damn thing. 1 Corinthians 13:11, when I was a child, I speak as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. I put away childish things. And in terms of everybody turning against us because of the deceit, because of us being on the, we are what people refer to as the fringe, because we are the true followers of Jesus Christ. Mark 13:12, now the brother shall betray the brother to death, and the father the son, and the children rise up against their parents, and shall cause them to be put to death. Think about that, people. And in terms of the Mandela effect, it's destroyed, man. Okay, for many of the people who believe this, the Home Depot, the Fruit Loops got turned into Fruit Loops, and the Home Depot, J.C. Penney's, and the Bible's been changed, and blah 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 through quantum physics. How about this? How about something more rational? How about there's been 200 new versions made since the 1890s, and they were done in a building on a printing press by the Synagogue of Satan. No quantum physics. And our Father's word has never left, because those whom he calls to hear it and to understand it, we will get it. The grass withereth, the flower fadeth, because the Spirit of the Lord bloweth upon it. Surely the people is grass. The grass withereth, the flower fadeth, but the word of our God, our Father, shall stand forever. Now, if this gospel is hid from you, Alexander, and to all of you others, if it's hid, it's because it's hid to them that are lost. Do you understand? It's hid to them that are lost. I'm going to read some verses to you now, people, about what happens when the accumulation of watching lie after lie, watching TV, the music, the porn, the constant lies, what it does, and how you're going to be held accountable for it, because you are going to be held accountable for it. And I hope these verses will move you. And I want you to think about what's being said here. The Almighty Father tells us in the book of James to seek wisdom, and that we should ask him, and that he will give it to us if he chooses, and that we should believe that we are going to receive it. And Paul told us in 2 Corinthians 11:13-15, that since Satan himself masquerades as an angel of light, that we should not be surprised that his servants masquerade as servants of righteousness. Jesus also warned us of prophets who appear to be sheep, but inwardly they are ravenous wolves. Matthew 7:15. This means that we need to discern beyond the outward appearance, scratch beneath the surface, to perceive the true nature of things. And this is no more readily apparent than online. Deception, and especially on YouTube, doesn't arrive with a special warning label plastered to it, folks. You have to be willing to pray. It is deceptive because it looks very much. Folks, we have to fix our eyes on the author of our faith and our perfecter, Jesus Christ, who has blazed the trail for us. And he told us to do what? Follow me. Follow me is what Jesus Christ said. Most folks are going to follow YouTubers or a lying pastor, but they will not follow Jesus Christ. Let me read some verses to you, and you think about these and take these to heart. Psalms 119:37. Please get out your Bible and mark these down, and then go back and read them. Psalms 119:37. Turn away mine eyes from beholding vanity, and quicken thou me in thy way. Psalms 144:11. Rid me and deliver me from the hand of strange children, whose mouth speaketh vanity, and their right hand is a right hand of falsehood. Psalms 1:1-3. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful, but his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law doth he meditate day and night. And he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth his fruit in his season. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper. Psalms 119, 101, I have refrained my feet from every evil way, that I might keep thy word. Deuteronomy 7:26, neither shalt thou bring an abomination into thine house, lest thou be a cursed thing like it. But thou shalt utterly detest it, and thou shalt utterly abhor it, for it is a cursed thing. Think about what is being said here. Your father is saying, for example, you get on the internet, you bring a tablet, a smartphone, you bring something that is an abomination to your father. The curse that is on it now becomes a part of you. 1 Thessalonians 5:22, abstain from all appearance of evil. 2 Timothy 2:16, but shun profane and vain babblings, for they will increase unto more ungodliness. 2 John 1:10-11, if there any come unto you, and bring not this doctrine, receive him not into your house, neither bid him Godspeed. Psalms 101:3, I will set no wicked thing before mine eyes. I hate the work of them that turn aside. It shall not cleave to me. You see, we are to avoid those that do evil. We are to avoid the lie. We are to go out of our way to avoid it. Luke 11:34-36, the light of the body is the eye. Think about this, the eye. Therefore, when thine eye is single, thy whole body also is full of light. But when thine eye is evil, thy body also is full of darkness. Take heed, therefore, that the light which is in thee be not darkness. If thy whole body therefore be full of light, having no part dark, the whole shall be full of light, as when the bright shining of a candle doth give thee light. 1 Corinthians 15:33, be not deceived. Evil communications corrupt good manners. 1 Corinthians 5:6, your glorying is not good. Know ye not that a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump? Romans 1:33, who knowing the judgment of God, that they which commit such things are worthy of death, not only do the same, but have pleasure in them that do them. This is your enemy. James 4:4, ye adulterers and ye adulteresses, know ye not that friendship of the world is enmity with God? Whosoever therefore will be a friend of the world is the enemy of God. Galatians 6:7-8, be not deceived, God is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. For he that soweth to his flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption, but he that soweth to the Spirit shall of the Spirit reap everlasting life. Ephesians 5:11, and have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reprove them. You know, that's a verse that doesn't get talked about enough, so let me say it again. Ephesians 5:11, and have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reprove them. Psalms 101:7, he that worketh deceit shall not dwell within my house. He that telleth lies shall not tarry in my sight. Matthew 5:28, but I say unto you that whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her hath committed adultery with her already in his heart. 1 John 2:16, for all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes and the pride of life is not of the Father, but is of the world. Titus 2:11-12, for the grace of God that bringeth salvation hath appeared to all men, teaching us that denying ungodliness and worldly lust, we should live soberly, righteously, and godly in this present world. Well, that really, you know, all the dopers and the people that want to get tore up every day, they don't like hearing that. You see, everybody's looking for a loophole. There's got to be a loophole. Well, there aren't any loopholes, people. There just aren't any loopholes. 1 Peter 4:2, that he no longer should live the rest of his time in the flesh to the lust of men, but to the will of God. Think how powerful that verse is. Let me say it again for you. 1 Peter 4:2, that he no longer should live the rest of his time in the flesh to the lust of men, but to the will of the Father. You live to the Father's will, not to your will, not to other people's will, but to his will. Proverbs 13:20, he that walketh with wise men shall be wise, but a companion of fools shall be destroyed. Jeremiah 15:17, I sat not in the assembly of the mockers, nor rejoiced, I sat alone because of thy hand. 2 Corinthians 6:17, wherefore come out from among them, and be ye separate, saith the Lord, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you. Ephesians 5:6-7. Let no man deceive you with vain words, for because of these things cometh the wrath of God upon the children of disobedience. Be not ye therefore partakers with them. And this is what has happened to people. They are partakers with evil. Proverbs 4:14-15. Enter not into the path of the wicked, and go not in the way of evil men. Avoid it. Pass not by it. Turn from it and pass away. 2 Timothy 2:19. Nevertheless, the foundation of God standeth sure, having his seal, the Lord knoweth them that are his. Let every one that nameth the name of Christ depart from iniquity. Colossians 2:8. Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit. You know that Jerusalem is in South Africa. After the tradition of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not after Christ. Job 28:28. And unto man he said, behold, the fear of the Lord, that is wisdom, and to depart from evil is understanding. Psalms 34:14. Depart from evil and do good. Seek peace and pursue it. Proverbs 3:7. Be not wise in thine own eyes. Fear the Lord and depart from evil. Proverbs 16:17. The highway of the upright is to depart from evil. He that keepeth his way preserveth his soul. This video is dedicated to my sister Julie Kruger. We walked the same path at the same time. May the Father bless each and every one of you all in the name of Jesus Christ.